Rossella Rago, and welcome back to a very special episode of Cooking with Nonna. I have my number one Nonna expert here, Nonna Antoinette. Say hello to
Ciao,
everybody.
everybody. Ciao, sweetie. So
Ciao.
nice to be here with you again.
Yes, for our special Easter
Yes.
extravaganza.
Yes.
So Nonna Antoinette tends to join me on big holidays for big holiday recipes, and the reason being is that she's just so good at them.
And so sweet.
Well, you are. I mean, she is a professional. All her recipes are always perfectly measured and well written, which is something I always appreciate when I'm working with a nonna who tends to measure things out for recipes using like their fists. So she's the best of both worlds, and she's so pretty.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetie.
So tell everybody what we're gonna make today, because I am so excited about this episode. It's something that not a lot of videos, I haven't seen a lot of videos on this particularly.
Yes. Well, the first reason is because it does take a long time. It's a little bit more complicated recipe, but once you get to know it, it's not hard really.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making Casatiello, which in my region of Naples, caso in the slang of Naples means cheese. So it's a cheese bread, and with the meats, so it's appropriate for Easter. It's shaped in a ring because it represents the crown, the crown that Jesus wore, when he was put on the cross.
Yeah.
And the eggs are a sign of fertility, new life, so the resurrection. And we put a little cross of dough over each egg
one, right?
because it's the crucifix. So it's all about, Easter is about Jesus. So we're celebrating all of that
With
in a
something
bread. With food.
delicious.
That's how Italians do. We celebrate everything with food.
Totally. Now, so the Casatiello is, like she said, a type of Easter bread. Mm-hmm. So the Easter breads that we've covered on Cooking with Nonna, we did the traditional gurugolo from the Puglia region, which is a sweet cookie, but the same kind of thing. An egg with a cross over it. My nonna makes a dub. Yes, everybody does a different thing. This one from Naples is very special because it's a savory Easter bread. Mm-hmm. And I remember I would walk through bakeries in Campania whenever I would visit there, and I would see like beautiful photos of this Casatiello with the eggs on top, with the crosses. It's rich, it's delicious, it's like nice and salty from all the meats. Yes. So that's basically what it is. We bake it in a angel food pan or a ring pan, a bundt pan. Whatever you have, different people do it in different pans.
Yeah, it helps if you have the two-piece bundt pan because it's easier to take it out because this is a nice bread. But, once whatever you have will do, as long as you have something with a hole in it.
Okay.
It has to have a hole in it.
And then the meats and cheeses can be whatever you like.
whatever you have on hand. You could substitute mortadella with ham. Mm-hmm. I always recommend having at least sometimes salami. If it's not salami, it could be sopressata, very similar to a salami. And we are using the pancetta in substitution for cigoli, which in Naples is the rendered fat. When everybody uses
gotta love some rendered fat.
Like bacon, like crunchy bacon. So that's cigoli. But cigoli is not readily available here in the United States. So we're using pancetta, which is the next best thing. It's readily available. It's got great flavor.
It's always a good idea.
Yeah. And when you take it out of the oven and you start, the aroma from all these meats is unbelievable. And try always to use a sharp provolone. You want a dry cheese.
Okay.
Because if you put American cheese or a soft cheese, it will be it's going to melt all over. It's going to mess up your dough. You want a dry cheese.
Got it.
These are my tips.
So just to go over the ingredients, what we're going to start with, we're going to make a dough, and then we're going to make the filling. You've been warned, this is a little bit of a complex recipe, but it's so worth it.
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
Easter time.
Yeah, you have to make something special for Easter. You do. And this makes a nice appetizer bread. If you're bringing it somewhere or in your own house, it's delicious. It has everything.
Wonderful. So our dough, we have some yeast, so dry yeast, some sugar, some flour. We have extra flour for when we need. We have some lard. Can't make this without lard. Don't even try.
Yes.
We have some salt and black pepper and some water. And then over in our filling area, We've got some mortadella and provolone. These are cut into large pieces. So when you go to the deli, ask the person to cut it, leave it in one piece. And we're going to show you how this needs to be chopped. It's a specific way. We have some grated pecorino and parmigiano cheese mixed together already. Some salami, also everything is in large pieces, and we're going to show you how to cut. Some pancetta, and then for the toppings, we have our whole eggs, and we have our 1 egg for egg wash. So let's get started with our dough.
Yes. Okay, we start by proofing our yeast. We measure up 1 cup of warm water.
Yes.
Because yeast likes warm water. We put the sugar first.
Okay.
Because sugar is the friend of yeast. We're going to use a little spoon or something.
I got a spoon.
Yeah. So just we want to mix it up. Thank you.
Okay.
And that.
And this should start bubbling.
Yeah, and this will start bubbling. That's what the sugar does.
And
It
the water
activates
is
it.
nice and warm.
Yes. So while we do that, we already measured 4.5 cups of flour, which you put into a bigger bowl, and we make a little well. I already washed my hands, so people don't write in that my hands are dirty. No, I washed them, so. Here.
So I want to point out that we are doing this in a bowl. There are several ways that you could do make a casatiello. You can absolutely use a stand mixer, and you can also do it right on a wooden board if you want to, if that's your thing, and make the well. We're doing it in a bowl just for space purposes, but I just want to point out, no matter which method you use, the procedure is exactly the same and the order of ingredients is exactly the same.
Yes.
So if you had a mixer, you would just keep the mixer on low for most of the steps.
Okay. This is.
Got the nice bubble, so
Yeah.
our yeast is good.
So we're going to start pouring right over the lard so that it starts melting. And don't be afraid to use lard. It's just like using butter. It's the same calories. But lard gives it the flavor.
Flakier too.
And the flavor, the authentic flavor of this bread
Yes.
is because of lard. Okay, I think we got it all. Okay, we start mixing this. And then once we have all the yeast incorporated, we put the salt and pepper because like I've said before in the show, if you put the salt too soon, it will kill the activation of the yeast.
It will actually like slow
it down,
the activation of the yeast.
So it might slow down the process.
Yes.
So here we go. We got everything. Now we started with 1 cup of water, but in the recipe we have 2 cups. Every flour is different, like we always say, so just use your judgment.
It's also going to depend a little bit on the humidity in the air that day. So
the temperature, everything.
Yeah, and that's why you'll be able to see the texture of the dough when we're done.
Need a little more. So sometimes you use 1.5 cups, sometimes you use 2 cups and a quarter. So it all depends on everything Rossella said.
How do you know if you use too much?
If it's too sticky,
Okay.
you use too much water. So you're going to use some more, you're going to add a little bit of flour.
You can fix it.
You can fix it.
You can always fix it. That's what I love about dough.
Yeah.
Some people
It's
get
very
really
forgiving.
intimidated, but you can always fix a dough.
Yeah.
You can almost always fix a dough.
Yeah, it's very forgiving. And you want to end up with the consistency of pizza dough.
Okay.
So that's a good comparison for you out there that have made pizza before or have handled, even if you buy it at the store, you know what the consistency of pizza dough is. Okay, I think we're ready to turn it over onto the...
I'm going to move our mortadella right
so
over
we
here.
have a little bit more room. Here we go. Okay.
So you're going to start kneading this, and like she said, we're looking for pizza dough. And pizza dough is like a nice, shiny ball of dough.
You want elastic and shiny and pliable, so all of those things.
So you want to start to try and clean up the board.
And your fingers.
Yes. So who taught you how to make the Casatiello?
My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was very good with all these, with the Easter. My paternal grandmother also, but my paternal grandmother taught me more how to make the Easter, the pizza again, and
Traditional
yeah,
rustic
those,
things.
yeah. My maternal grandmother was more the one that knew the outside of the regular recipes, you know, because she catered weddings and she did a lot of more elite cooking.
So between your two grandmothers, you kind of had the
inspiration and
fancy food and the everyday food.
Yeah, but also they were great inspiration. So I loved watching them. I loved being around them and seeing what they were making, and then I wanted to help. But they were good. They would always make me help.
Okay.
How does it feel, Rossella?
Feels a little bit sticky. I think we just need a little bit of our extra flour. Okay. But I think we're almost there. I think this was a pretty good estimation.
If you don't mind, I want to get my
not at all
my stuff off the the fingers. So I'm going to take a little bit over for you. Give you a break.
No problem.
On your wrists.
You're the boss, Antoinette.
Oh yeah, right. Just want to get all this stuff. When you're kneading the dough, it cleans your hands too from all the little pieces that stick to it.
You're done when you have clean hands.
Yeah, exactly.
If your hands are still dirty, the dough's not done.
No, that's true. That's actually a great tip
for most.
Because it means it doesn't stick anymore.
Yeah.
When the fingers are clean, the dough is ready, right? But this is starting to look good.
Yeah, it's starting to feel good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to get in there too?
Let me see.
It just needs a little bit because it's when you see a little bit of I call it cellulite. When the dough has cellulite.
Nice.
The little dimples.
The dimpling, yeah. Then it's starting to really come together.
Yeah, you want to get rid of the cellulite, guys, for a good dough.
No, we don't want you want nice, smooth.
Smooth and yes.
I think we need a little tiny bit more flour. Just dust it. Yeah, good. That's a good quote. Good. Ready dough has no cellulite.
Yes. See, we here at Cooking with Nonna, we have all the tips for you.
And when you knead dough, just push with the heels of your hands. Same way I knead my pasta doughs and everything, just heels of your hands.
That's what it is. And go from one to the other.
Yep.
Just like the kittens. My kittens keep doing that all the time on my rugs. So.
Yeah, they could help.
Yeah.
Sure, her kittens are named Barbie and Ken, by the way. How adorable is that? So because of the fat content, this dough is actually going to just melt in your mouth between the lard, the cheese. It's all going to be beautiful.
Okay.
Look at how beautiful this ball of dough is. This is gorgeous.
Yes. Okay.
Love it. And our dough is done. So the next step is filling.
Yeah, filling. So now we'll just, we're going to use this immediately. We're not going to wait for this to rise because it will rise with the filling. So we'll just put it in here for just 5 minutes while we start slicing some of the meats, and then we're going to spread that out.
Okay, so we just cleaned off our board, and now we are going to start cutting everything up for our filling.
Okay, so you take the cheese, I'll take the meats.
Okay, this over here. So we're just going to cut everything up into 1/4-inch cubes.
Yes, so make sure when you buy your meats, like we said before, you ask the deli person to, for one big slice, as you can see here, about 1/4 inch. So it makes your life much easier. Then you just make it.
And if it breaks, don't worry, just
That's still going to go in there.
cut it up as best you can.
As you can see the little cubes.
You just want to break up any pieces that are a little bit stuck together. Make sure they're all separated, right? Okay, so now we have all our little cubes all
Yes.
ready, and we're ready to fill the Casatiello.
Yes. Okay, let's move this out of the way so we can start rolling our dough. And we're going to do it right on the counter here.
If you have any kind of large surface for this.
Yes. Okay. So first thing, don't forget, you need to pinch a little bit off because
right.
we're going to need to do the little crosses.
The crosses on top of the eggs.
Yeah.
So
Like a
reserve like a little
golf
handful.
ball. Yeah, like a little. Here we go. Save that aside. Now we'll start stretching it as if we were making pizza.
Okay. So with your hands, just start pulling it apart.
But you don't want a circle like you do pizza. We want a rectangle.
Okay.
So slowly start getting, and you want to make it as uniform as possible because you don't want a layer too thicker than the other. Although this, by rising together, it evens out once we put it in the pan to rise. It will even out.
Ooh.
See how nice it is?
That's why I love homemade dough, because it stretches so much easier than store-bought dough.
So this is about an 18 by 14. Just if you want a gauging, do you want to gauge it?
Mm-hmm.
And make sure, let's say one
So-
is a little thinner, try to get,
Move.
move a little bit dough because you don't want a hole in there.
So this is about the same size as like a standard baking sheet.
Yes.
About if you need like something to measure on.
And if you need to patch it, you patch it. You take a little bit of dough where there's extra and you patch a little hole. No big deal. First thing, before we even start anything, here's Ms. Lard coming back.
Time for
into the
lard.
picture. So what we do
Ooh.
is like you give your dough a facial.
Oh, beautiful.
See, your dough wants to be treated nice.
And
So.
this is where all the flavor comes from.
And don't feel bad because we're not using, I mean, some recipes call for a pound of butter. And this, we only use 5 ounces in the dough. And this is just a dollop just to make the meat stick better and the cheeses.
You need it.
Yeah. It's once a year, people. You could go to the gym the next day. Okay, so that's good. And then the cheese. This is 50-50 mixture, Parmigiano and Romano. And just get your hands in there and evenly spread it.
This is going to be so fantastic because all these cheeses are going to melt together, and it's going to melt all around the meats.
Yeah.
And the way Nonna Antoinette does her Casatiello, it won't separate. Sometimes Casatiello you can look inside and you can see the layers kind of separate. This comes out like a cake.
Yes. That's why I like, this is the original recipe. Some people, everybody has their own version or they alter it. Some people let the dough rise first and then they then they fill it. But then again, like you said, when you roll it up, you see those layers that you rolled. But this is going to grow together with the cheeses. The cheeses and the meats are going to be all incorporated into the dough, and you don't see layers.
Amazing.
Okay. And like when you were saying about the cheeses, so we have pecorino, we have Parmigiano, we have provolone. So it's all the combination of the meats and the combination of the cheeses that gives such a great flavor.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we start with the meats. Okay. And you just throw it in there. And just make sure that you have an even layer, because you don't want then when you slice, I'm sorry, Rossella.
No problem.
You don't want to cut a slice and one has nothing and another
one's
one
all
has,
mortadella.
Yeah.
No, you want to get everything evenly distributed.
Yes. And you go to about maybe a half an inch, because when we're rolling it, you want to leave a little bit of a lip.
Leave a nice border.
Yeah. No big deal.
As evenly as possible.
Yes.
That looks so great already.
Yeah. Okay, now we go. Final is the cheese.
You want to cover the entire surface of the
Yes.
dough. Don't leave anything naked.
Yeah. I'm going to take a little from there because here is a little bald spot
Just
here.
gotta make it all perfect.
Oh, yes.
This looks
Okay.
perfect already. I think we're
Okay.
good.
The final touch.
Black pepper.
Just
So you
a
want to
fresh-
season every step
Yes.
as you go. It's about creating all these nice layers of flavor.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Now,
Oof, now's the fun
the
part.
rolling, yes. It might seem complicated, it is not. Don't get intimidated by this part. Starting from the side closest to you, you will roll it up against you in a jelly roll style.
Okay.
So, here, let me show you. Very gently. And make sure you hold, when you make the next roll,
Don't let go.
with your fingertips, hold it, because you don't want your meats.
Yes.
You don't want to
Yes,
lose your
yes,
meats.
Yes.
So, see, it's not that bad.
Ah, great.
There you go.
Woohoo!
Okay, and now the reason why you want the little,
And you want to pinch the
yeah,
end.
you pinch
Close
the
that up.
ends. Yes. Now we have our greased.
Yes. This is a loose bottom angel food pan,
Yes.
and we greased it with, guess what?
Lard.
Lard.
This is all about lard.
Got to do it.
And you want your seam down.
Of course. Seam on the bottom, and
So-
she just
So you just go like this.
and fit that in there.
Yes. And even the ends, if they overlap a little bit, that's fine.
Just tuck them in.
Tuck them in together, and they will grow together.
Ugh,
So it's not.
awesome. This looks so good.
So now this we cover it with a little bit of plastic wrap and maybe a towel, and let it rise for 3 hours. So ladies, go shopping, go do whatever you got to do, because this is going to be the longest part of this is the rising.
Yeah. Everything else was so super easy. This is just the only part that it's unavoidable.
No,
so don't
you have
try
to, yes, this is what it is. It has to rise for 3 hours.
in a
It's
nice
going
warm
to,
place too.
yes, in a nice warm environment, not too hot, but warm environment, and it's going to be double the size by the
Okay.
time you bake it.
All right.
So-
So we are
Oh.
going to.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the
Oh, more lard.
I forgot.
How could we forget more lard? Ooh,
So we put, now,
we gotta paint it.
yeah,
a
we
little
did
bit.
we did the inside. Now we have to do the outside. See, this bread loves his facials.
Make sure you get like the inside towards the
Yeah.
ring.
The outside, and this, when you bake it, will melt and give it a nice.
And when you make this for someone and they ask you what's in it, just don't even just say, you don't want to know. It's one of those things. It tastes good, good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Most food that is good, most food that tastes good. Now what? It has good ingredients in it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so
that
now we're
is
ready.
good. Now we're ready.
So
Okay.
we're just going to cover this with some plastic wrap, and we will see you in about 3 hours when it has doubled in size. Okay, so now it's time for the moment of truth.
Yes, it's been 3 hours since we put it. Oh, beautiful.
Ooh.
Look at that.
This looks great.
It doubled in size, just like we wanted. So now
Excellent.
we are going to place our eggs on top here. Now we're going to do it very gently. These are washed and dried and ready to go. Now, if we're going to do it gently,
Okay.
Rossella, because if some people are a little bit too tough, and then it's a raw egg.
Right.
So you have to treat it gently. If you put it a little bit, you're a little bit too tough with it, it's going to be boop.
Oh, madame.
So, and you only want to do it halfway. It's got to go halfway.
So just the
Yeah, that part.
the
The pointy.
the pointy part down.
Yeah, because you want the nice rounded. You just,
Is that one good?
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And now,
Gonna make those cute little crosses that go over the casatiello.
okay, the easiest way, because we have 4 eggs, so we divide it in 4 pieces, and then each piece
And two.
into. That's the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
And we want to make about a 4-inch rope out of it.
So we move this out of the way.
There you go.
Thank you, thank you.
Makes it a little bit easier.
Okay.
Now, yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna bring our Casatiello back.
Yes. Okay. Are you in there? Okay.
Make sure our ends are.
Sometimes because the dough is in its rising process, sometimes when you put it, then it comes back. It wants to push it back up.
Oh
so
my.
just make sure.
Make sure they're in there.
Yeah.
Nestled safely.
Yes. And then we just start putting the little cross. And if you have the leftover, the pieces, you could stick them to the sides there.
Just like that.
Our little crosses are done. So we're going to bake it. This usually takes an hour in the oven. Some ovens, if they're hotter, they might take 45 minutes. But in my experience, it's an hour. So at the 45-minute mark, I take it out, brush it with the egg wash, put it back in for 15 minutes, and it's perfect, shiny, and it gives it a little golden. So
fabulous.
That baby is ready to go.
This already looks incredible, and we're just gonna put it into a 375-degree oven for 45 minutes, brush it with the egg wash, and bake it for an additional 15 minutes, so an hour in total. And we will see you when it's all done. So how amazing is our Casatiello?
Yes,
This is
beautiful.
the finished product. This looks so good. And it came out golden brown and
Just
gorgeous.
like you want it.
Yeah, this is the lard at work. This is what happens when you slather something in lard. And Nonna Antoinette was making a very good point. So I know you guys are all going to ask if you can use butter instead of lard. And Nonna?
No, and you're not going to get the same results. The flavor is not going to be the same, and the consistency is not going to be the same. Lard and butter have the same calories, so it's not that you're saving anything by using, butter instead of lard. And lard is easily available everywhere. It's next to the butters, so it's not an ingredient that you have to go crazy finding. But this bread the lard is the secret ingredient.
Absolutely. The lard is what makes this what it is. And what it is the flakiest pastry-like dough in the Casatiello. You're going to have beautiful flakes in between the meats and the cheeses. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to cut into this.
Yeah, it's going to be crunchy on the outside and soft in the inside, so perfect.
And
Should we?
Yes, please. It's still warm. You want to let this cool inside the ring for a little bit, and then remove it, and then when it's kind of lukewarm to the touch, then that's a good idea to start cutting into it. And this, if everybody doesn't go through this for appetizers at Easter, this is typically saved for the day after Easter. In the Italian culture, we call the day after Easter La Pasquetta, or Little Easter. And that's the day that everybody takes leftovers and goes on a picnic in the country.
Yes, and uses up all the beautiful goodies that it was so hard to work for.
Wow.
So here we
This
go.
is amazing. And it's still hot, so you're still going to see the hollows. But we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait.
We kind of rushed, but yes. But it's going to be very good. Here, Rossella, I want you to try.
Oh my
Let me do
goodness.
it this way. See, if you let it cool off a little bit, it will slice a lot easier. We were just anxious to try it. So
Yeah, no, I need to have this.
So
This looks, look at how moist it looks inside. And everything is so melty and flaky and delicious. It just like flakes. Oof.
what do you think?
Oh my God.
The flavor is unbelievable, right?
There's so much flavor from everything, from that sharp provolone that we put in there, from the parmigiano and pecorino mix, from the salami, mortadella,
the meats,
pancetta, everything really just comes together and melts together, and it is gorgeous. That's it. It's gorgeous.
This is delicious. I think we did a good job.
You always do a good job. Oh, amazing. So I got plans for this after, but we're going to say goodbye. I am so glad that we finally did a Casatiello video together. This is the Casatiello queen. She makes everything. Everything she makes has made for me on the show in the Cooking with Nonna cookbook has been absolutely perfect, and this is no exception. Thank you, Nonna and
My
Antoinette.
pleasure, sweetie.
You're always wonderful.
Thank you.
Mwah.
E buona Pasqua.
Buona Pasqua a tutti.
Ciao.